Okay, so today I'm here to talk to you about the Chapter 5 study guide and the Chapter 5 review. I'm just going to go over some of this stuff real quick, show you how it fits together. First off, when you're adding polynomials, remember they are only like terms if they have the exact same variable and it's in the same exponent. When you put the stuff together, if there's two numbers, it's a binomial. If there's three numbers, it's a trinomial. Those are over here, monomial if it's just one number. And then when you look at the degree, this one has to the third power, so that would be a cubic. This one has to the second power, so it's quadratic, not just second degree, third degree. On the test, it'll have those vocabulary words. When you subtract it, same thing. You can only do like terms. Remember, if you're subtracting a negative, it's just like adding, so you have to be very careful. If it's 8th, 9th degree, like some of these are, you can just put 8th and 9th degree. We don't have a vocabulary word to match up with those. When you multiply them together, don't forget, add like terms. You can put them in the boxes. That'd be a quick way, or you can just distribute. And again, naming them. If this is x squared and you're multiplying it by another x, that's going to be x to the third. So it's going to be a cubic polynomial. And since we're multiplying across here, it's 3, it's probably going to be a trinomial. There'll be 3 numbers there. When you go to divide, you have to do long division if there's a number in front of the variable down here. So you can do long division, you can use the boxes. Miss Dixon's class did not learn the box method. We did. You can use the boxes on that one. You can use synthetic division if it's just an x plus 2 and x minus whatever. Remember, use the 0, go through with just those coefficients in front of the numbers, and don't forget your placeholders. This one doesn't have an x to the third or an x to the first degree, so it'd be 5, 0, -1, 0, 1 when you divide it. It's only a factor if it goes in evenly, so you come up 0 on that one. The sum and differences of cubes, don't forget those formulas. They've been on the backboard. They will stay there during the test, but just know what you're looking for. Factoring by grouping, you can go back through, you can check on that, but you group the first two together, factor out that greatest common factor, group the second two together, factor out that greatest common factor. If there's not a greatest common factor between them, you may need to move some of them around so that they share stuff that you can factor out, especially variables. The maxima and minima of the third and fourth degree equations, don't forget, you have to analyze the graph. You have to graph it, you have to analyze the graph, and you're looking for maximum, but only include the point where it starts to turn around. Don't do the whole thing. The zeros, remember, where it actually crosses the axis, that's a real 0. If it's tangent to the axis, it's going to have a double root at that point. If it doesn't cross the x-axis more than like one time, you're going to have to use the synthetic division and then use the quadratic equation to try to find those imaginary ones, and they will be imaginary. If you can't do so well at that, remember, multiply those imaginary back out. You should be able to come up with a quadratic when you go through it. When it comes to factoring, if you're factoring one that is a fourth degree, a quartic equation, factor them like the quadratics. Look for what multiplies to the last number, adds together for the middle. Always check for a greatest common factor when you're doing it. The quadratic formula, if you haven't memorized it by now, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4a, or sorry, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Make sure you know that one. Make sure you're ready to work that coming in. The placeholders on here, the first 6 perfect cube numbers. Remember, if it's sum of cubes, difference of cubes, you're looking for those numbers like that. So 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, 5 cubed is 125, and 6 cubed is 216. We haven't seen a number 4 cubes beyond that other than 1,000, which was 10 cubed. Don't forget those false roots, the imaginary roots, and the difference between factoring and solving. You can factor almost everything that's going to be on the test. You only need to worry about solving it if it has an equals 0 on there. And remember, it's going to be a multiple choice test for the most part. There might be 1 or 2 where you need to fill in numbers, but multiple choice means you can always check those answers by multiplying them back out if you were supposed to divide. Hopefully this helps, and if that's not all the information that you need, stop by tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.